Okay guys, welcome back. So today's video is going to be never do this after you have a car accident. So let's get on to the video.
But goddamn, get it done, will ya? Woo. When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in these rhymes, cause these memories we running through New York.
As many of you guys know, we all drive BMWs. Now, everyone has experienced some sort of car accident or crash over their lifetime. And many people don't know what to actually do when they get involved in a car accident, be it a new driver or whether they've just started driving, they end up getting in an accident and they don't know what to do. Now, I've been in many car accidents which are none fault of my own. And obviously I know the ins and outs of what you should and shouldn't be doing. My friends are specialist solicitors in car accidents, so I know exactly what you should and shouldn't be doing. So I want to run over a lot of the steps that you should do once you have an accident and what you should be doing. I get a lot of you guys commenting on this saying your car's been involved in an accident, this, that, the other, or a lot of you messaging me saying this, saying that about your BMs, and you don't know how to get paid out from your insurance company. So I'm going to explain to you what you should be doing. So when you have an accident, the first thing you should be doing is making sure you take pictures. Pictures, pictures, and pictures. Pictures are key to the evidence for you to win your case, especially if you've got big no claims discount. That will help you win your case and prove none fault on the roadside. The next thing you shouldn't be doing is getting out or ever accepting liability for the accident or fault. Never, ever, ever admit fault to the accident. Many people seem to believe that when they get out the car, they instantly say sorry. Don't ever say sorry. Don't ever say the accident was your fault. You never, ever, ever admit liability. And that's because the moment you admit liability, if it's on a dash cam, if it's being recorded or the person's recording, which many people do these days, you will be held to account for that accident. So the next one, if you're in any pain or you feel ill or something's not right, because obviously after an accident, people end up in shock. And people don't realize their injuries until later on, once everything's settled, the pain, because it's the adrenaline going through, so you don't actually feel it. Make sure to go to the hospital and make sure to get a record of any injuries. This is purely because this will help come when you're trying to get paid out for compensation purposes. This will help with everything. Having a doctor's record of your problems and your pain will help you get paid out compensation. If you don't do that, you will end up in big, big problems, because when you do try and declare that you suffered whiplash or this or that, compensation people or your solicitors will end up saying to you, well, you never went to the hospital about this issue. So make sure you go to the hospital and get checked out and get a log of it and a report to show that you was going there. Now, the next one, when you have an accident, make sure you're the first one to call the police. Now, I know people are thinking, why does it matter who calls them? But it does matter, because if you call them, it looks better for you that you're at none fault. If the other person calls them, the moment the police come, they go straight to the other person, because they're the ones that called, and they start asking them what happened. And it looks like you're guilty of the crime and that you're the one who caused the accident. The police's report is critical, very, very critical to a car accident, especially if it's a big accident, because the solicitors will need that and the police will need that, and they'll also need that if it goes to court. So the police's report is crucial to who called the police and who spoke to them and who got their story in first, and what story actually matches up. Therefore, it's critical that you actually call the police before the third party actually does. The next one I'm saying to you, why take photos and why call the police, is a lot of people these days run uninsured, or they're not insured to drive that car. For instance, when I had my car accident, the girl that was driving, she had a twin sister, and it was her driving and not the actual twin sister, and they were using the one license to drive each other, and she wasn't actually covered. She wanted to settle me out, pay me in cash. I didn't want the cash for the car, because of the fact being I knew she wasn't covered, and she was more scared because the girl actually pulled out of a side road onto a carriageway when I was coming straight, and I was in the far right-hand lane, and she actually pulled out all the way into the right-hand lane and didn't look and tried to tell me she slipped off the clutch. She had no experience of driving, and she was, sorry at the time. She said she was going to admit liability because she knew she was in the wrong. There was 3 of us in the car at the time, so therefore she couldn't get out of it anyway, no matter what way she tried. But the principle is, she messed up and I got paid out because she was on her own, and she knew she was in the wrong because she was also high at the time as well, which she shouldn't have been. That's why when the police come, they took my side over her side, and they could see also when she got out of the car, she lived opposite the carriageway, so she ran across home and left her car there to go and get all her family, which when the police come, that made her look even more guilty because she left her car abandoned to go and get her family while me and my family members were in the car at the time trying to decipher what the hell's even happened. So therefore, that's why I do recommend to actually take pictures, because you get a lot of these dodgy people out there that will cause an accident and will try and make it look like yourself, or try and walk away because they're either not insured or they don't have a license, and they get scared the moment you're going to call the police. That's why it's critical that you take photos and you make sure you get it all on video for what happened as well, because, and also get a photo of the person actually driving. That is very, very critical. I believe that was a strong point in my case that made me win it, because without a photo of the driver, they could say this person was driving or that person was driving, and that makes the case even harder, and it can prolong the whole case of a car accident. So make sure to get a picture of the driver. It's not illegal to take pictures of the driver whatsoever. If you don't want to take a picture, make sure you get the person on video. As I said, that has really helped my case getting a photo, because she was trying to say she wasn't driving and the sister was, then she tried to say the mum was driving. It was a very, very long case. It took me nearly 2 years to get paid out. I had a courtesy car for the whole, actually, year and a half, while her insurance was paying for it because of that reason. But it was a very, very long cycle I had to go through, because they were trying to take this one, that one, that one. So just make sure you do that. I want to take you back to another accident of mine that actually happened, which I'll explain to you right now. Before, I had another car and it was a pile-up. Basically, a guy hit me, this other guy in a Mercedes, and the Mercedes ended up hitting me in front. Luckily, I had my handbrake on, so I didn't go into another car, but the guy had hit him and he had shunted me into my rear. Later on, obviously, the guy wanted to pay for all the damage, this, that, the other, but the job wasn't done well. So obviously, the guy in the Mercedes, me and my car, we end up coming together and trying to sort out the guy. The guy ended up getting away with it, saying it wasn't him driving, saying it wasn't his car. They tried to make out that he had stole the car from his mum, that he shouldn't have been driving the car, he wasn't insured. Therefore, the case couldn't go ahead because the guy had lied so much about the car, because he didn't want to pay out or he didn't want his insurance affected. That's how he got away with it. And that was purely mine and the guy's fault in the Mercedes, because back then we didn't take photos of the guy and who was driving and the car at the time. That's purely our fault. I did have some photos, but they weren't clear enough to show. This was an Audi convertible that hit us. He got out and he was sorry because he wasn't concentrating on the road. But come later on to find out, he was going to make out that the car was stolen. His mum was going to make out it was stolen. She didn't give him permission to drive. Therefore, there could be no claim against him. This is why I say to you guys, just make sure if you're ever in an accident, you have your phone. Make sure you take all details. These days, you don't need to carry a notepad and pen. Just make sure you carry your phone. Try and stay quiet on the recording. Just record what they're going to say, because if they're at fault, you want to get them mostly on the video, not you. If they admit liability on the video, well, it's a win-win case immediately for you. The case will take literally a month to decipher, not years. So it'll be a lot easier for you. Just make sure you always record in a car accident, because it's something a lot of people never ever seem to do this day and age. And these days, cameras are so cheap. You've got cameras on your phone, make sure you record it. Recording is better than photos, I believe, because recording can show everything in detail. So just make sure you actually do that. As something why I always carry my GoPro in the car, ready to go in case of anything like that. It's always strapped to my dashboard, always strapped to my windscreen. I've got my GoPro ready to actually roll as soon as I get out of the car, for that reason, because obviously I know what people are going to try and make out that it was my fault. Therefore, we're going to get into that whole argument, and obviously it's guilty until proven innocent, and it's down to you to prove that you're innocent and they're guilty, and it's down to them to prove that you're guilty and they're innocent. So it's vice versa, and the case can be very, very long ongoing, and I've had many cases like that. So I hope it's going to clear up a few issues for you guys and what not to do during an accident. Like I said, the key points are: never admit liability, never ever ever not take photos of the accident or video, and never ever say sorry to the person either, because saying sorry, you're admitting liability. You never apologize for the accident, which is what a lot of people, especially old people, will get out the car and immediately say sorry. Don't ever say sorry. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope this now helps you if you ever get yourself involved in a car accident. Thank you very much for watching. It's BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.